Peter Anthony Baxter, Wiltshire History Man. Save Me From Myself focuses on the poet and philosopher Samuel Taylor Coleridge and his struggle with addiction. I will read the beginning. Malden House, Highgate, was the ideal home for a doctor, his wife, and their 2 young sons. 3 miles north of London, it was quietly set back from the road and screened by a row of lime trees. It was spacious, comfortable, and wholly domestic. Calm contentment prevailed, at least for most of the time. Dr. James Gilman was a physician who was also interested in the human mind. Aided by his wife Anne, Gilman had taken on a house patient who had a history of addiction to laudanum, a mixture of brandy and opiates, the universal painkiller. When taken in carefully controlled doses, or just a few drops, it was an admirable medicine. But taken in excess, it could cause wild, reckless behaviour. Large quantities of laudanum acted as poison and could lead to severe mental imbalance and even death. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, a literary genius, had moved into Malden House as Gilman's house patient on the 15th of April 1816, just as spring was blossoming. Coleridge was 43 years old, afflicted with a series of physical ailments which could never be properly diagnosed. In December 1813, Coleridge had suffered a major mental breakdown exacerbated by laudanum abuse. Adding to Coleridge's laudanum addiction was a tendency to drink too much strong beer and spirits. Gilman had at first been reluctant to take on such a challenging house patient, only being persuaded to do so by the pleadings of Coleridge's friends and Coleridge's own frank and honest recognition of his addictions, together with his expressed determination to overcome them. The calm contentment engendered by Gilman's care was shattered one night when Coleridge awoke the household with a fit of desperate screaming. The nightmare over, Anne was able to console Coleridge enough to ease his terror, but he could not get back to sleep, spending the early hours reliving the events of his appalling dream. Gilman looked Coleridge in the eye. "If I'm going to be able to help you escape your terrors, Samuel, I need to know what your nightmare was about. What made you scream?" "In my nightmare, I saw a roadside milestone, an iron plate set on stone, inscribed, 'To Bath, 5. I'd missed the last coach. I was walking on the road, clutching my bag of books. It was dark, it was cold, it was wet. I could barely see where I was going. I stumbled from the hard surface of the road to mud and mire by its side. Splattered with the mud, I lurched back onto the road. I could feel my legs getting heavier and heavier. I wanted to turn back, but I could not. It was as if some unseen horror from behind was making me move on, but slower and slower. I felt the weight of the bag I was carrying, hindering my progress still further. I wanted to let go, but somehow I could not. Alone, I felt isolated, adrift, and utterly forsaken." Coleridge paused. Mounting fear was in his eyes. "I came off the road again into more mud. My bag was sinking into it. I tried to lift it up, but I couldn't. My entire body was being sucked down into an abyss of mud and deep, deep water. I flailed with my arms, trying to seize hold of something to stop me going under. I was screaming. There was no bottom, nothing to stop me." Then I awoke. Coleridge was crying, evidently distraught from his nightmare. "Calm yourself, Samuel. It was a dream. It was not real, however much it seems so to you. I would like to know, though, why, in your dream, you saw a milestone, a specific milestone at that." The milestone is real. It marks the beginning of events that led me here, Doctor. If you wish to know more about the milestone and how it led to Coleridge's breakdown, his highly productive time living in Calm, and the move to Highgate, you may wish to read the rest of my story. Thank you.